everybody. Soul Folks here. Doing a little special presentation tonight with my good buddy Ninj from the Sinners Alliance on Merger 91. I spent a lot of time with them on Crowbar. And so basically we're going to do a little kind of question and answer, some discussion. I got a lot of respect for him. I've known him for a while. And so just want to say, throw this out there. Thanks, Ninj, for joining me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, nothing like supporting the best YouTuber for Magic Rush ever, right?
Absolutely.
So we've got a few questions, and we're going to have a little discussion. I'm going to ask some questions, let him talk, and then I'll throw in a few things there. But I got a lot of respect for him. He's currently managing Sinners. I've got it pulled up on my screen for you guys to see, and it's kind of a good powerhouse guild. It's got a good mixture of people. But I want to talk a little bit about managing an alliance, especially at this caliber. So tell me a little bit about managing an alliance, and what you think is some of the difficulties of that.
Well, the difficulties is, besides yourself, you have 64 other personalities if your alliance is full. Currently, we're sitting at about 51 players. We had another alliance within the group decide to start up, try and rebuild. I'm not going to have my people stay there if they don't want to. If they want to go out and venture and try and do something else to keep them interested in the game, you got to let them do that.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's people who just want to farm. It's Magic Rush, but they want to play a game like, going out and just collecting resources compared to people who just want to war. You have to balance all those different personalities together to try and make it work. And you do need those farmers, and you do need those people who want to war, because you need somebody who's going to sit there and constantly build your citadel up and stuff like that. Getting those turf fragments.
Yeah, doing the research and all that other junk.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle, obviously, the personal desires you have versus obviously the interest of the alliance sometimes?
You got to put your ego aside. That's the biggest thing, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. Another thing is you have to put the alliance first over even the people within the alliance that you favor more. So if there's somebody who's saying, hey, we should kick this guy, or hey, we should go to war with these people, you've got to look at the big picture instead of saying, oh, this guy's my buddy, let's just do what he wants to do. You got to make those tough decisions, and it's not always easy.
So like, I'll give you an example. Sometimes, you might like somebody, but the rest of the alliance does, and you'd like to have them in there, but they don't. What do you do in situations like that?
You gotta, it's never easy. You gotta look at it, and basically say, does this person bring enough to the alliance to where it's worth keeping them and having the trouble within the alliance? And most of the time it's not. It's just not worth the headache. You don't have 20 hours to spend playing a game and, making everybody happy every single day.
It's hard to be a parent in real life and in a game.
Absolutely.
So I know Sinners has been through a few leadership changes. Tell me about some of the changes and how that transpires from the first guy, and I think you're number 6 or 7.
Something like that.
42.
The first leadership was actually passed on simply based off of power. A guy came into play. By making him leader, it would allow the alliance to grow. And this is very, very beginning of Crowbar, when, there's 50 alliances all over the place. Nobody was consolidating power. So it was a move that made perfect sense. Then the merger occurred. That leader felt that it was needed to keep somebody who wanted to leave by giving them leadership. To try and, force them to stay within the alliance. As soon as that happened, the old leader decided to start questioning what the new leader was doing, and basically caused a huge ruckus within the alliance. Hostile takeover type situation.
Yep.
Like that. The new guy didn't want it. He passed it on to somebody else. Somebody else had real life things come up. He passed it on, blah, 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 blah. Now it's sitting on me for roughly a month. Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. No.
I mean,
even
let's talk about it. I mean, you've got currently 50 people out of 65 in the alliance. Alliance war comes up. How many of those 50 actually put their troops in? Not every, and I can't even say I do, but every day.
every day. If the first day is always the best day, everybody gets hyped up for it, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do so great."
When it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You'll play some alliance that doesn't even put 5 troops in altogether. But then as you progress further and further down to the bracket, you'll be lucky if you've got 40 people who put troops in. Usually, to be realistic, it's like 35.
Yeah. We had 9 guys. We had 9 guys that didn't put a troop in on ours, and we lost by 1 team.
Yeah.
And it's what do you do? As that leader, I mean, do you slap hands? Do you kick them out? What do you do?
I found that if it's somebody who's very active in Kingdom Wars and they love going out and getting all those medals because they want to get that purple beast soul comp or whatever it may be, you just simply say, "Hey, you failed to do this. And this is your punishment." If that doesn't work, eventually you got to say goodbye.
Yeah. And that's tough. I think people don't realize, I was made leader on 98 before we merged, and I don't like being leader because, one, it takes a lot of time. I think you'll admit it takes a ton of time, and you got to deal with all the other alliances on top of your own member. So how do you handle getting elders? You know what I'm saying? Elders are supposed to help. How do you go about doing that, and what's important in an elder?
There's a couple of different things you want in them, and you need to pick your elders for their strengths. I've got one guy that I really, really trust, and his whole entire thing is just to argue against me. That's all his job is to do, is tell me, "Hey, you're wrong on this, you're wrong on this, you're wrong on this," to try and make me see the big picture. So overall, we make the decisions that are best for the alliance, and not just everybody saying, "Yeah, this is a great idea, let's go destroy so-and-so." And that turns out to be a catastrophe to where, you split the union that you've made with all your other alliances up. Then we've got somebody who, speaks English very fluently, and she can speak Spanish very fluently. So, she's our translator. She, bridges the gap between those, issues that we have with the translation, where the alliance mail I send out looks, rugged and rough, and it's not supposed to be like that.
Why does he want to buy my dog? I don't understand.
Yeah. It's like, what? No. But yeah, and then you've got to have somebody who can strategize the war, organizing throne wars and stuff like that. Somebody who's really good with communicating with the other alliances, because I can't do everything. You can't do everything. So you need to have people you can trust to delegate certain tasks to them.
Yeah. I agree. I want to take a second. You and we've talked a lot about this, Throne Wars. It's probably one of the most contested, or it was before Kingdom Wars, one of the most contested times on a server. Everybody wants to be king or wants to win Throne Wars. And I guess my first real question is Throne Wars worth it, in your opinion?
Not at all. Not at all. When you're playing against that rank 1 person who's got 480k power per team, and he speeds up left and right and jumps all over the place, he'll go refill his water as many times as they need. It's not worth it. The diamonds that you end up spending to win the throne, you'll never recuperate. You'll never get them back.
I mean, I remember one Throne Wars. I think it was it was the second one. The second one where Sinners actually won it. The guy that was king before spent over 100,000 gems, and I know I spent 7. I know other guys spent 10, 15,000 gems, and there's just, like you said, there's just no way to get it. That alliance gift that you hand out. You
mean those 5 gifts that are 1,000 diamonds each?
Yeah. That's just junk.
Yeah. I could see him as, spending all that and wanting that ruler title and everything like that. If he wants it and he wants to take all the diamonds, good for him.
Yeah.
But it's not worth it for me to send my people in there to go spend diamonds that would be better used on prayers or the wheel event that's going on, or resetting, elite stages to try and awaken a hero that they've been working on, or that extra stamina to push them closer to hitting 90 or 91 or 92.
And I agree with you 100%. Sometimes I like to argue, but man, I tell people, who cares about Throne Wars? I mean, I don't need my ego stroked, whatever you want to call it, which a lot of times is all it's about. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, none of the statuses are really worthwhile. I mean, outside of Sage, which gives you just an 8% tech upgrade time. I mean, none of them are really worth it. I mean, what would it take to make Throne Wars worth really fighting over? You know what I'm saying? Because Kingdom Wars offers, the nice, we can get ourselves some purple chests, or I can get ourselves some, purple soul components and everything else. And even then, it's still kind of sketchy if it's worth it. But I mean, that's usable. That builds my character. It makes it better. But Throne Wars offers absolutely nothing. I mean, what would it take, do you think, to make Throne Wars worth it, knowing what gets spent?
If they boosted the diamond payout 10 times, it'd be worth it. If you had 5 gifts that you could give out that were 10,000 diamonds apiece, yeah, it then might break itself even at that point.
If you added a 0 basically to every one of the diamond gifts, so you're going to give out 10,000s, 5,000s, 2,500, and 1,300.
Yeah, then it might be. But you're still, I mean, at that point in time, you're still spending. I've seen guys spend $500 just on, waters and speed ups and relocates and stuff like that, and you're still just breaking even.
Yeah. And the statuses themselves are worthless. I mean, let's be honest. In fact, the only perk of being king is getting to make one guy the peasant, which decreases his attack, or not peasant, the stable boy, which decreases his, or which one is it? Ruffian? I can't remember. Somebody here decreases their attack power. Yeah, but power loss of 2%. Big whoop. You know what I'm saying? But that's peasant. I mean, there's just nothing to really say, hey, this is worth fighting over. You know what I'm saying?
No. I mean, yeah, you get a really cool orange name.
Yeah, I've had that. It's nice, but it's not worth the gem spent.
No.
And I think that goes for all wars in general. I mean, the majority of the time, spending speed ups. If you can't win without blowing thousands of diamonds in speed ups, I don't think it's really worth winning. Because right now you guys are raising a citadel, right? Aren't you?
We had to put that on pause because
of Kingdom Wars.
No, not even Kingdom Wars. They so basically, for those who don't know, we attacked an alliance that was within our kingdom. They took off, moved the citadel. They cleared out their alliance, so therefore the strongest Chinese alliance could start moving in. Our goal was to raise the citadel so they couldn't use the carrier to drop into the kingdom, get the boost power and everything like that.
Yeah.
They started to do that move, but we were ready for them. We caught them off guard. We burnt a bunch of them, relocated a bunch of them, forced the other ones to shield up. So we had to put the citadel on hold for now until we can deal with this. But yeah,
we were doing the same thing on a citadel, and really timed it poorly and hit Kingdom Wars, and suddenly it's like, oh, you can't damage it anymore.
Yeah,
well, that was a waste of 4 days and a lot of resources, and now it's healing at a fast rate, and yay us, 3 days of protection.
Then if their citadel's 3 levels lower than yours, they can just attack yours with impunity and steal all your medals,
and you get nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, we found that out the hard way. So I guess my question really comes, and I think this is something I didn't preface you on this. Knowing that the Throne Wars isn't any good, but knowing Kingdom Wars isn't bad, when you're spending diamonds, let's be honest, where do they need to go? Do they need to go in battles, or does it just purely need to be on your heroes and stop spending on water? If you're going to get burnt, don't relocate. I mean, you know what I'm saying? At what point do you say, I could easily drop 20,000 gems in a few fights, but those 20,000 gems aren't going to get me anything. It's like I've seen guys speed up 4 times to attack a guy for 30,000 resources. And if I go to my academy and I spend 80, because I'm getting 17.3k per 40, I got just as much for 80, and I've saved myself 320.
But hold on, you didn't get the prestige of burning somebody for whatever it may be, an hour until they repair their castle.
Yes,
Come on.
Yes.
No, I mean, the biggest thing is if you're going to go into battle, spend all your resources. Then you don't care.
Yeah.
You absolutely don't care. Especially if you're going to participate in the throne wars and stuff like that. Spend your resources before you go in. If they're going to waste attacks to try and relocate you, that means they have less attacks that they can use elsewhere.
I agree.
That works in any normal battle also. There's no point in speeding up. I've seen people try and speed up on me, 4 lines, speed them all up, and they're 20 minutes away, and I'm like, okay, I'll just jump right next to you now, while you have to wait for them to come back.
Or spend another, I don't know, 2,000 gems.
Yeah.
To bring them
just
home.
To get them back. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing I've been trying to teach people the most is I'm like, quit speeding up. I mean, I face a guy on my server who speeds up everything. I mean, gosh, I counted one time he spent attacking me in one day. He spent over 15,000 gems, and he never relocated me. And I'm going, I hope that was worth it, because I'm thinking 15,000 gems, that'll get you from no stars to 2.5, 3, or no dots to 2, 3 dots, or that'll take you from 3 dots to 4 dots, or I mean, you know what I'm saying, any of that combination. That was just $150 you just blew
for nothing. And that's the other thing. If you can get somebody on tilt to where they do that, you're making out on your end too, because it's less diamonds they have to use on their heroes. They're just not spending wisely at that point in time. So that gives you an overall advantage there.
What about buying attacks then? Is it worth buying attacks?
It depends.
Because it's 300, 600, 900, 1200, 1800, something like that. I forget how it works.
It depends. I mean, if you're in the middle of a war and you've got somebody reeling, and you need those extra 5 to 10 attacks or whatever it is to really push them over the edge, and you're one of the guys on your alliance that can break somebody else's wall, I can see it at that point in time. But if you're just trying to relocate somebody, it's not worth it. Especially in Kingdom Wars.
Yeah.
It's not worth it for the boxes or the arenas.
What about buying water?
It depends. If you need it immediately, I'm okay with it. If you know you can, if you know your team is strong enough to beat off this team that's coming in because their rank 1 just came in and broke your wall for the 15th time, then I've got no issue spending the 40 diamonds to replenish your wall, fend it off. But if it's just a losing battle, no, take the loss. Be okay with it. Relocate.
That's kind of how I look at it. I've changed a lot in how I fought wars, and I realized I've blown a lot of cash on nothing that mattered. And and it's like I could have got another 4-dot hero. I could have got another 2-dot 4-dot heroes. I could have got another I could have used all that on an event. I
mean, as far as spending diamonds on dot and heroes, I don't do it unless it's got an event going on with it. I've gotten my Vortex and my Paganini, as you like to say it, both 4-dotted off of free prayers.
Pagani, come on.
Paganini.
Paganini.
Yeah, I've gotten both of them 4 dots off of free prayers.
Yeah.
I haven't spent a diamond on them at all, and I'm okay with that.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
people don't realize that.
If you can take your time and spend that on stamina, so therefore you're pushing your level 90 to 91 just a little bit faster.
And people don't realize that jump from 90 to 91 is huge. I mean, not only is it 80,000 experience, which takes forever, but when you get 91 and you can go up to Orange 4, or is it Orange 3? I can't remember now. Orange 4. It's each hero is different.
I think
I don't have when you get old.
I think it's Orange 4.
Orange 4, yeah, Orange 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. The power that you gain for that, versus, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as much as the difference between 89 and 90, because the power level, once you get Ruin Cores unlocked, it's massive. But then again, you gotta spend diamonds.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, I want to say thanks, Ninja, for joining me. I know we're going to do some more videos. Any final thoughts before we kick you out of here and post this to YouTube?
No, I'm good.
No, you're good.
Yeah, actually, I do have one. For those of you who are free players, you're not going to spend big. Pick a team, pick a lineup, and stick to it. Don't go chasing everything that's fashionable and new.
Unless it's the new tank, but we'll get to that in another video.
Yeah.
So.
All right, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming, guys. If you get a chance, you can stop by Merger 91, watch Ninja and Sinners fight the good fight. But man, I appreciate you coming, and I hope you have a great night.
You too. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks, man.